Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive. Today, we're tackling something that's kind of all around us, but we don't always think about it too deeply, branding.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right? Like we all know it when we see it, those logos and colors and jingles get stuck in our heads, but what's really going on there?
Exactly. That's what we're going to unpack today. We're diving deep into this text called What is Branding, really? So if you ever wondered why you reach for that specific coffee or always choose that one sneaker brand, well, get ready for some aha moments.
Definitely. I think this is going to be a good one.
Let's jump right in. So right off the bat, this text hits us with a pretty powerful definition. It says, branding is the ability to embed principles and values in the customer's subconscious through visual communication.
Whoa, intense, right?
I know, right? Embed principles and values in the subconscious. Sounds kind of like mind control or something.
Yeah.
But I think what they're getting at is how branding really taps into our emotions and perceptions. Yeah, I see that. It's not just about slapping a logo on something. It's more about creating a whole feeling around a product or a company.
Absolutely. And that feeling needs to resonate with your target audience, right?
Yeah.
It's about building a connection that goes beyond just the product itself.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do brands actually do this? Is it all about having a cool logo or like a catchy slogan?
It's definitely part of it, but there's a whole process involved. This source breaks it down into 4 key steps, and it's like a recipe for successful branding. We've got beautiful packaging, experience, promise, and confidence.
Okay, those sound like pretty broad categories. Let's break them down one by one. First up, beautiful packaging. I get that aesthetics matter, but come on, isn't that a bit superficial?
Yeah.
What about brands that are like all about sustainability or ethical practices? Does their packaging need to be super flashy too?
You bring up a really good point, because even if a brand's focus isn't on, being super trendy or fashionable, presentation still matters a lot, actually. Beautiful packaging doesn't necessarily have to mean over the top, though. Even something minimalist and clean can be beautiful. Think about it this way. When you see a product with packaging that looks cheap or poorly made, what do you think?
Well, I'd probably wonder if they put the same lack of effort into the product itself.
Exactly. But on the flip side, a product with well-designed packaging, even if it's simple, signals to the customer that the company cares, that they're invested in quality. And that can subconsciously make you think, okay, this is worth my money.
So it's about that first impression, making the customer feel like they're getting something that's valuable. Okay, that makes sense. But what about experience? That seems way more like all-encompassing.
It is, because experience is all about, well, the entire customer journey, really. Everything from that very first time you see an ad for a product to like how you interact with the brand online to actually going into a store. Think about like Apple stores. Have you ever been in one?
Yeah, a few times.
They're designed to feel super modern and minimalist, right?
Yeah.
That's a deliberate part of the Apple brand experience. Or how about a brand like Nike? They have their whole fitness app and they sponsor events and stuff. It's about creating a whole community, a lifestyle that you want to be a part of.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of experience, I totally did this thing once where I bought a pair of shoes just because the store smelled amazing. Like they had this really specific scent pumped in and I was totally sold.
Uh-huh. That's a great example. It's not a coincidence. That scent was 100% designed to make you feel a certain way. Probably something luxurious and sophisticated, right? It's the same idea with the music they play in stores or the way a website is laid out. It's all about creating a specific feeling.
Wow, yeah, this is getting kind of deep. I'm realizing just how much strategy goes into branding. Like we're not just talking about pretty colors here.
Right. There's psychology involved for sure.
Okay, so what about promise? What does that even mean in like a branding context?
Promise is all about establishing trust and reliability. Think of some of those big brands that have been around forever, like Toyota with their reputation for making cars that last forever, or Schufersol, the supermarket chain that people trust for good prices and quality products. They've built that trust by basically keeping their promises to customers over and over again.
Right, they deliver on what they say they're going to deliver.
Exactly. And that consistency builds a reputation. So when you see their logo, you immediately have certain expectations and you know they'll probably be met.
So it's almost like you don't have to do a bunch of research before you buy something from a brand you trust. They've already done the work to earn that trust.
Yep, it's a shortcut for sure. Which brings us to the last step, confidence.
Okay, so how does confidence tie into everything else?
Confidence is what happens when you've nailed all the other steps. You've got a brand with beautiful packaging. It creates a positive experience for customers, and it consistently delivers on its promises. All that builds confidence, both in the brand itself and in the customer's decision to choose that brand.
That's like a positive feedback loop.
Exactly. Customers feel good about their choice, and that makes them more likely to stick with the brand.
This has been super eye-opening. I think we've all learned a lot about what goes into creating a brand and how it impacts our decisions as consumers.
Definitely. And, it's something we can all pay attention to in our own lives. Think about a brand you really love. What is it about them that makes you feel that way? Is it the design, their values, their customer service?
Yeah, that's a great point. Understanding why we connect with certain brands can teach us a lot about ourselves.
For sure.
Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive into branding. It's been a fascinating conversation.
My pleasure.
And to all our listeners, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time for another deep dive.